No, it's at a point like there was a point where I was like, if family can do things like that are that messed up, who else is gonna do it? Obviously a friend would do it, or obviously like they're gonna like being with someone who's smoking and drinking. That relationship was like a sacrifice, you know, like one person's going out partying, drinking, and not doing things that are gonna make them successful. That's a waste of the sacrifice.
This is a Buff Talk.
3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Old School Matt here. We are back with another Water Buffalo TM podcast. Today, we're doing an after hours podcast with my boy, Patricio Pinedo. As you guys might not know, Pat and I were, I guess, the first people that really started up Water Buffalo. Obviously, I'm the owner of the company, but he helped me tremendously with our first product. So shout out to the boy. We decided to get together after a long, grueling boxing match session today. Depending on when this podcast drops, you guys will have seen that or not. But without further ado, just welcome Pat. And it's really late right now, but we wanted to get this done. And
welcome home, Patricio.
So real quick, Pat, just let everybody know, like, who are you? And obviously he's been behind the scenes before on Water Buffalo, but you guys haven't really seen him on the channel before. So this is like his appearance.
The debut. So I'm basically one of Matt's close friends. I've known him.
We're not friends.
Oh, no, we're brothers, I guess. But we've known each other for how long? Over that. All right, 7th grade.
Yeah, dude. Whenever I think back in high school, I'm like, yeah, that was a couple of years ago. But when you think freshman year, that was like literally almost 10 years ago. It's kind of crazy, right? Like I think
literally 8 years ago, I think, right?
8 years ago.
2013.
Was that freshman year?
Yeah, 2013, 2014. That was a year. That's crazy.
Yeah. In middle school, we met in middle school at I don't even know, field trip. We were going to Islands of Adventure, I think, or Universal. And just quick little background story. I'm sure Pat will be on the podcast at another time at some point in the near future. But we have some funny ass stories to tell to the people. But just real quick about how we met. We met actually because I remember there was some girls at another school that I was telling Pat that were going to show up.
But do you know who introduced us?
Yeah, Ryder.
Yeah.
Bro,
I remember that shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
So basically, you were hyping it up that we were gonna be with girls or whatnot, and at that moment I was very shy and I wouldn't really talk to females or whatever. I was like a little scrawny kid, and I was like, oh shit, Matt is gonna hook it up, and we're gonna be able to, it was like 7th grade, so whatever, just to hang out with girls, and I was all hyped up about it, and he kind of made it seem like it was gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I think nothing ended up happening.
No, I was so disappointed.
I think like
that's the reason I went.
I don't even remember. So there was different people from different schools, and I remember I had like in contact with one girl that was in like 8th grade. We were 7th grade or 6th grade?
Yeah,
I think 7th grade. And I remember like I was trying so hard to like make it seem like I had a bunch of girls, but I mean,
I didn't know you at all at that point. Right?
Yeah, we didn't know each other
like at all.
I remember you had Takis on the bus, and I was asking you for them. Remember that?
I would always have Takis. That's what I was known for. I would have like bags of Takis every day, but not like the little tiny ones. It was the whole
giant bags of Takis.
Takis.
Takis. I remember that we had some crazy. I don't know how long this podcast is going. We're going to keep going until we decide that we want to shut it down. But we had some crazy stories going out throughout high school. Obviously, during I would say the late senior year, we kind of like going into college kind of was different because we went to the same school. We were in the same area, but we kind of like, I don't know what because we kind of split up, right?
It was like I guess, and I don't know if we got tired of each other. I don't know what it was, but
that's going to be the introduction to our topic on the podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about life choices and decisions when it comes to relationships and how that affects your personal success. But yeah, we were friends through high school. Obviously, Pat also has been through his high school wasn't the easiest for him per se. I'm not trying to say that he was like growing up in Project 1 housing, but he definitely had a little difficulties, and
To clarify that, it was just like divorce and family stuff. That's all.
Yeah, but
I wasn't a hoodlum.
No, I'm just, in terms of like sometimes you weren't really around sometimes, and you had like different moving situations. So
yeah.
We try to make the best of it though. We had some fun times in high school. We did a lot of work together at the gym. He was my first training partner, I would say.
But the reason I went into the gym and I like decided to start working out and get into that whole thing because we weren't talking during that moment, if you don't remember. Like actually, like we had a little altercation.
I don't remember.
And you were working out. It was during like the whole beginning of your workout phase, and like we had a little split. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna join the gym. And I remember going into the gym.
I don't remember.
You walked past me, and I was like, "What's up, buddy?" And you were like, I don't know why we didn't talk for like a bit, and I just wanted to show him up.
Yeah, he never did. But he definitely.
Not size wise. I looked like a beautiful aesthetic Greek god.
He probably had the best genetics in terms of like the group of friends we had.
Waist up though.
Yeah. And we also, I didn't know we got into a fight. What did we get into a fight? I don't remember. Someone else told me. Do you know that I wanted to fight Eventon at one point? I kind of remember that. Do you remember that?
100%. I was actually thinking about it.
Yeah. I didn't remember that at all.
And I remember when he came up to you. I remember when he actually came up to you at the gym or something. And I don't know, after that you guys kind of like blossomed as friends.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't remember what it was. I remember I thought it was really tough because I just got into working out and whatnot. But he would have definitely kicked my ass, and he'd kick my ass now. But going back to that little part, because it's kind of interesting. So like, why did we get into a fight? Do you remember?
The same thing, the Eventon thing. Like you were like, hey, all hyped up.
At the gym, yeah. I had a big ego back when I was like 14, but that faded away very quickly.
It was good. I guess it was good though, because you had just kind of transformed your body. Maybe it got to your head.
Yeah, I was like 120 pounds, bro.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that. But I know that when we split the more recent time, we didn't let girls get involved, but we had a little bit of a disagreement on outlooks of life. And I think that Pat's outlook in life was a lot more like what mine was now. I was a little bit crazier my freshman year of college. So we kind of split up, but it kind of tying back into what we're going to talk about eventually in this podcast is we kind of let two females in particular kind of control what we did. And it's not just them. I'm sure there's a lot of females out there, and I talk about this a lot too. And I kind of want to just get your perspective, Pat, on the whole relationships and what's going on in today's society and how that kind of impacted our friendship. You know, I don't know if obviously we're going to go into specifics, but you know, it happens to a lot of dudes too. It's not just us, obviously.
You feel like other things had a part in the whole situation, or it was like straight up just that?
No, I think that was it. But obviously, it was a weird situation. We're not going to get into the specifics, but what I was doing when we were both freshmen, kind of, I was the reason why we stopped being friends for a little while. But I mean, looking back at it, I would think that we would have made different decisions. I wouldn't have done I wouldn't have even been the person I was with. Looking back at it, if I could make those decisions, and I don't think you would have either. But
would have what?
Been with the person that I was with.
Me too? Nah, I disagree. I would 100%. I wouldn't take that back.
Oh, you would have been. No, I'm saying.
Would have been or would have been with the. I thought we're talking about like the relationship part of things. Are you talking about being the person you are?
No. I'm saying that like the reason why all that got started was because I was with somebody at the time, and that relationship pulled me into a different direction in my life.
Okay.
And we stopped being friends because of that. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that before then, I wouldn't have even been in that relationship to begin with, and it probably would have saved our friendship. You know, at the time, obviously we're close now. You know, it's a weird, you know, kind of relate. I can go like years without seeing him, and it's like we get into the gym, and it's like yesterday.
Do you look at like life and like mistakes and whatnot as no regrets, or you actually regret certain things, or like it's like, oh, the cliche, it makes me part of who I am?
Not that I regret it, but I think that if I would have taken the steps, and see, the problem with me is that I never really had a mentor that was older than me. Like, you know how today we were with that kid at the gym, and I don't know if those words are going to stick with him or not, but I never had someone tell me like, hey dude, stop going out. You know, I never had. I don't know if you ever had that before. No,
No.
I was the only person that told myself to stop going out. If I didn't, or not just going out, because that's not, just because you go out doesn't mean you're a failure.
It's the mentality of it.
Yeah. But what I was trying to say was that I never had anyone. You were the closest thing to someone that kind of stirred me in the right direction. But we both partook in the college festivities, right? So
yeah, no, 100%.
it wasn't just like it was me. But if I would have had somebody mentor me and say, hey, listen, dude, you're young and you have your whole life ahead of you. Why are you going to limit yourself to said individual, said lifestyle? Why are you going to do X, Y, Z? It might hinder your success in the future. I'd be 2 or 3 years ahead of where I'm at now. I don't know if you agree.
I agree, but not. I don't think your mindset would have matured as much. I feel like you had to hit that and go through those things to be able to maybe get to the mindset you're at now.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that if someone would have, told me,
I guess
at the time, I think that my roots, and me and Levi talked about this the other day, but I think my roots would have pointed me towards more personal success and things that kind of will fulfill me more than going. Because like when we were in high school, no one ever. My parents never did. I mean, they obviously didn't want me to go out. They never went out. But I never had like a teacher or a friend say, hey, bro, why are you going out drinking? Everyone was like, why not? So the influence kind of pushes you in that direction. And if you think about it, if we would have gotten on, let's say Instagram, for example, or I would have started Water Buffalo in 2017, I would be leaps and bounds ahead of where I'm at now because I would have learned everything I learned. True. You know what I mean? I'm 22 right now, and I would say I'm still not even there yet, but I would say I've kind of got to the intermediate level of all this content creation stuff with now like the podcast, the videography and stuff like that. But I would be where I'm at now at the age of like 20, and I would still have 2 years left of college to kind of like, now I'm in this point where I got to get going and I got a, full-time job and same thing with you, but
it's like a rush, like you're being rushed.
Oh, do you agree? I mean, but you've been doing music. So obviously Pat does music. He's been doing it for a while, but I don't know.
But it's been like hidden kind of. Like I've kind of done it on the side. No one really knew about it just because I guess throughout my whole high school or whatever, college, even college, like summer college, I had this like idea of how to act or whatnot and what things I guess people knew me for. And I'm at a point now where like I don't give a shit what people think, and I mean I guess that's like something I had to learn throughout like experience and things like that. But that's why I decided to open up about the whole music thing, because we come from like a little town where everyone does music.
Yeah,
like everyone was doing music, and like all the kids in high school and were doing music, like music, just rapping, whatever.
Yeah.
It was like fake gang, like white people, literally, like just white kids just trying to rap and stuff like that. And during that time that was happening, I'm not saying white people can't rap, but like you just had you just had to see it. But these kids were trying to do music, and I've been wanting to do music for a while, and it kind of made me feel like I was gonna hop on the bandwagon, like if I came out and said, oh well, I'm doing music too, doing music too. So I kind of just let it die out, because it did. Like all those kids don't make music anymore, most of them actually, and just the phonies kind of like died out. And then I'm like, all right, I've been working on the craft for a bit, and I'm gonna pursue it. And I'm still growing at it, and there's other things that I'm working on right now that come before, I guess, like just my mental and just building a foundation for myself mentally. But I'm still grinding with it, and that's like the whole goal for myself. But
when did you exactly start making? So like what kicked things off for me was the late 2018, and I wrote those 2 ebooks that I had out, and that's when like kind of jumped me, because I don't know if you remember in high school when we were doing all the Kevin Levrone stuff, like the Mr. Olympia. I was like killing it on social media, but I just didn't know how to really like grow it. But I think if I would have continued, I would have definitely been leaps and bounds ahead of where I'm at now.
Or you stayed on like the kind of genre still, like from high school, like when you started working out, you stayed.
Yeah,
in that?
but the thing that killed me was that when I went to college, I stopped for
Yeah.
like a year. Like if you go to my Instagram, you see like high school, like I was killing. I would look incredible. I was going to the Mr. Olympia. We did the Kevin Levrone thing, and I was like talking to people, and like I was like right there. You know what I mean? Like if I would have just jumped into all this, you know, gotten a camera, started like whatever YouTube channel, I would be so much ahead. I mean, you can't regret anything obviously in life, but just thinking back at it, and then I stopped because I went to school, and like I didn't, obviously the fraternity stuff. You didn't want to get judged by people, you know, girls and whatever. But if I would have continued on that track, I felt like, I mean, it's literally a whole year of my life that could have been ahead. So
That's true.
that's why I don't regret the relationships that I got in, or relationship / decisions I made, but they didn't help, you know, for sure. They're a lesson that took years out of my life that I would much rather have done other things.
So do you see like the relationship thing as like fuel to the fire that was already happening? Or was it the cause, the match?
I would say it was,
or a mixture of both?
because so what happened was that it was that summer of 2017 where we both got into some relationships that we kind of rushed into.
Yeah.
Then we went to school, and then the whole fraternity stuff. I think the fraternity stuff was a good thing, but having that person, because it was like fraternity, crazy party till, you know, mid summer of my sophomore year. And then it was like, okay, I like this person. I thought at the time I liked the person. And then let me go build back the last year of the relationship. And it was constant back and forth of driving. It was, you know how it was.
Yeah.
We both did long distance. It was hell, dude. It was like a lot of wasted time. You know how many weekends I went to said place, and it was like, Jesus Christ, like $40 to get there, and then like money for food and stuff. It was a waste of time. And if I would have started the social media stuff, the water buffalo, and listen, for everyone out there watching, listening to the podcast, this is not me saying like, oh my God, like I wasted so much time. Obviously we're still young, we're 22, but it's more of like a lesson. So like, if you know that you're getting yourself into something that you probably shouldn't have be getting into, there's definitely a clear path. I think every decision in life has a clear path. It's just, it depends on if we want to look at it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if music would have been as, because you were always doing music, you know?
Yeah. When I told you I was doing music, were you like, bro, where did this come from? Because I feel like that's what everyone thought. Because it was the most random thing, especially for my family. I was soccer player, tennis player, did BMX, played football for my whole life, and then I got to the point where I always wanted to do music, but it wasn't like what I was kind of told to do when I was a kid. And once I got to the point where I was like, okay, you can do whatever you want, I'm like, all right, I'm going to pursue it. But yeah, I think the music thing might have been more flexible.
What do you, like, you're saying the timeline?
Like, with a relationship, or don't?
No, I see what you're saying. I meant like when you were, because it's just like, I would say from 2017 to 2018, maybe late 2018, so almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost a year and a half. I can't think of one thing I did for myself that was bettering, like, what
That was better.
the situation. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, school.
It's school, but other than that,
School.
like school, yeah, me and you see school as just like a placeholder for, you know, a job at one point to continue on our path for entrepreneurship and what we like to do. But yeah, it's sad because obviously right now the thing that's pushing me forward, not even with Water Buffalo, but, you know, just doing like little side projects with the videography stuff and working part-time / full-time now. Like, I didn't even have that when I was going to school. Like, I would do little catering jobs. I did, and at the end of 2018, I did start working at the mall for a little bit to like save some income. But it's like, and not just, I know there's people that are older than us that are thinking the same thing, and they're like, looking at us, they're like, okay, good, these kids got on it early. But I'm telling you, you guys can even get on it earlier. And that's why I try to help my sister and people like that are younger than me and say, listen, if you're in a good relationship or you're in a good position in life, continue to keep going. But if you know you're in a bad position, like let's say you're part of a fraternity and your goal in life is to be an entrepreneur, you don't have any business being out at the club till 2:30 in the morning every weekend. You know what I mean? Life is a lot easier now because we have so much more access to information, but it also means that there's other people, a lot more other people that are willing to jump into the ball now too. Like back in the day, being an entrepreneur was very difficult because the resources at your hands were limited and you needed a lot of capital to start what you wanted to do. Nowadays, the entry to the market is a lot easier. You can start a Shopify for $30 a month.
Everyone's an entrepreneur now.
But everybody wants to jump in. So you have to work even faster. So that's like the trade-off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the same thing with music. You know what I mean? You could start a whole
Everyone wants to do music. Literally everyone.
You could start. Let me ask you this: to start you a studio at your house, how much would it cost you to like be professional? A couple $1,000?
Yeah, and I mean, there's people you hear of artists like I always use this
Billie
example. No. They had like good gear and stuff. They just did everything from home. But like X, he would record things with his Apple headphones, like his first songs, just like on a laptop, and that was it.
Got you.
I guess it depends on like the genre you're doing, because if you're doing like classical and stuff like that, like you can't be
of course
doing that kind of stuff.
But it's a lot easier, right? Like 20 years ago, like there was not.
And people, but I also think like it's easier to start, but there's so much more competition.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
So I mean, it goes both ways, I guess. Like it was good, but it's also easier to
I think back in the day, you had to innovate more to be successful. So you had to think outside the box more. And nowadays you have to work harder because the innovation's already there. Like you could do literally anything you want in terms of money, in terms of product ideas, but you kind of just have to have a little bit of money. But back in the day, the initial investment was a lot more, but it was more about finding the next thing. Everything that we're doing now is pretty much like all the music is pretty much out there. Now it's your time to work at it to make something your own, but it takes a lot more work and a lot more effort because everyone else is doing it.
Everything sounds the same, like on the radio and stuff like that. It's just like, the working hard, being the person that keeps pushing their brand, and I think it's more about the brand now when it comes to music. Like
same thing with business, I think.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because content's available and like everywhere, but just like how you brand it and how you push it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know. But let's get back to the whole relationship thing and
I know. Let's do these real quick because I know. It's been a little while. I want to just loosen up the nerves and get these out of the way. So
what are we talking? He's like, don't party.
But just one time for the podcast. Don't drink, but one shot on a Friday night is not gonna hurt you. Just don't go out to the bars after. It's really not if people were like, I go out like once in a while, like that's not a big deal, but once in a while is never once in a while. Like if someone's out there, they go out 90% of the time. That's why it's just a quick side note slash tangent. Like whenever my friends, not a lot of them, because not a lot of my friends go out, a lot of my friends are in relationships, but I think I'm talking about this. He was going to podcast with us tonight, but he was telling me about a girl he met at the club. And listen, anyone out there that's a girl that watches that go to the club, no offense, but this is my opinion.
He told me to meet girls there. Yeah,
no, that's the worst place you want to meet somebody, because what are the chances that they're only going out that one night? 1 out of 1,000, girls are there for the first time in weeks. Normally it's a weekend thing, and
vice versa.
Yeah, guys too, but it's not bad to enjoy yourself, but it's bad to put yourself in an environment with people that are, not getting anywhere. And
people do that with, like, I always talk about building a foundation, because when you're it's like playing with fire, and if you don't have a stable foundation with things you're doing and like a set career or whatever, like a goal, it's like a waste of your time. Because let's say you were to do it, or someone that's like has a plan and is working hard, like it's like a celebration almost, kind of, let's go have a little bit of fun and whatever. But people go and have fun with no achievements.
Yeah, no, someone told me, someone posted on the story, they're like, what are you guys partying? What are you partying for?
Yeah.
What are we celebrating? No, nothing. Yeah. That's exactly what I think. If I never have. Once you get out of it, maybe we'll do another podcast on something else. I know that you think about what I'm talking about. I'm going to say something you're going to know and talk about. Once you stop doing something that is habitual, that's bad for you.
Yeah.
After I would say a year, it becomes very doable. And then after 2 or 3 years, it becomes not even a part of your routine anymore. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I have a couple of things in my head.
Yeah, but the main one that I was telling you about.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll talk about that maybe one day. But the same thing with going out and whatnot. Like it's hard at first. You know, you miss a couple nights out with the boys, but honestly, and I'm going on the tangent because it's a podcast and whatever. But like, how many of the nights that you go out are actually a good time? It's mostly drama and bullshit, and
it's rare.
You know, let's go out and get girls.
And like once you have a good night, you chase that good night. You're like, oh, let me have another one, but it doesn't happen.
It never happens.
It doesn't happen.
I would say 90% of the time that I go out, it's a good time, but it's just like you're there and it's like 12 o'clock, and you're like your initial drunk from the night is like starting to fade off. So you're like, do I go home? Do I go eat? Like what do I do now? You know what I mean? I don't know. So. And if you do it every weekend, I feel like it's just like the same stuff over and over again.
Do you think it's better to be, this kind of like off, but do you think it's better to be in a relationship or not in a relationship? Never mind. You can't be answering that right now.
No, I'll answer that question. But I'm going to throw this back to you real quick. Let you go on a little spiel. We'll close out that whole nightlife scene. Mm-hmm. When you would go out in terms of, because people have heard this on one of the podcasts with Levi, but when you used to go out, back in the day, did you when was the time that kind of like influenced you to say, you know what, this ain't for me? Did you have like one time?
Bro, I didn't like, you know me how like I never really wanted to be going out and stuff like that. Like it was just something that I felt like I had to do. It was part of the whole life, and it wasn't really something that I desired. So once I like realized like I could do whatever I wanted and I don't have to kind of do the whole society, play the whole role in it or whatever you call that. I'm just like what am I doing? You know? So, by the way, Mateo gave me some tea. So he's a great host. 1 second. But yeah, bro. Literally, I had no like specific thing that kind of made me stop doing that. It just kind of faded. And that's actually one thing though, that the relationship I was in, there's a lot of benefits to relationship and I had a lot of good times, but that was one thing that also helped.
Don't cry.
Don't cry. There was like that was one thing that helped, you know, avoid that life, because it's like, for me at least, the whole reason to go out was for girls at some point. Like, that was the whole goal. No, and there was no point to be going out and stuff. So, bro, when I lived in Orlando, I probably went out 5 or 6 times max, which I think is crazy. In Gainesville, though, because there's nothing to do in Gainesville, it was often.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's literally just school.
What was there to do in Orlando? Your girlfriend?
I guess girlfriend, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could go to Disney or whatnot. I don't know.
Yeah, but how many times did you go to Disney when you were in Orlando? One time. I never went to Disney. But yeah, I do think that was the only positive thing that came out of my last relationship. And going back to your question earlier. No, I would say this is like, I guess, yeah. But we have different relationships, I guess. But there's similarities too. Yeah. But I would say that
a lot of both.
I do enjoy being in a relationship right now with the person that I'm with, because her and I are able to kind of like see that the problem with my last relationship is that we were very different people.
Yeah.
You know, sleep until 10:30, 11 o'clock. You know, when you finish a test, it's like, do I go celebrate my good grade, or do I continue to work harder so I can do it next time? That's the type of people we were. And no hatred towards individual if they happen to be watching, but just different people. And that's one of the signs, is when you first get with somebody, are you guys similar? And the person I'm with now is, you know, striving to go to med school. Whenever we, that was something that I really
like night and day.
Yeah, something I picked up about her is like, you know, and to all my boys out there watching, you know, it doesn't matter how good and driven a girl is or a female is. It's dependent on their character. So they can be the most hardworking person in the world, but if they're going to go cheat on you and be dishonest and disloyal, it doesn't mean you have to worship that woman. You know what I mean? So be careful with the person you're with. I'm always, I just got into a relationship 3 or 4 months ago, and I'm still very cautious of, the moves, and because you can't nowadays, and we'll get into this eventually on this podcast, but things have changed in terms of relationships. You can't give anybody your trust anymore. And I don't know if that's always been a thing, but anyways, going back to my point, we're just more similar. And, if I need to work, like right now, if I'm doing this and she's, still up, I'm going to tell her, hey, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do. And if, she's normally cool with it, and, she comes over here to study and stuff like that. Never did that in my last relationship. So it's a
difference.
Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping that people that are watching this or people that watch our podcast can get out of like what we're talking about, is that good decisions come with signs. They usually show early. You know what I mean? Bad decisions, you see the signs, but you just avoid them. So,
can I ask? This might be too personal, but what made you get into it? Not this one. Like the other one.
I don't even remember, bro. Seriously, I think I felt bad for her.
Jesus.
I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Like I said, it's like I don't want to get too personal, obviously, with this, because I don't know, eventually one day when our stuff gets bigger and stuff like that, and I don't know if she, like I said, no disrespect if you're watching this, but I felt bad. That was the whole reason we got into an argument, is this disagreement, because I didn't want to be in that relationship at first, because I knew the signs. I saw them. You know what I mean? I saw the signs, and something within me knew that it wasn't right, but I think that because of all the situations that were going on in college, I wanted to find an escape route, and I kind of like latched onto that person as my way out. And that was the only good thing, like we were saying earlier, to get us out of that little rat hole of like, the party scene, was getting into a relationship. And she was the first easiest thing.
Damn.
Yeah. Why?
No,
this is the truth.
It's crazy.
And I'm like I said, I'm pretty honest and open about everything that goes on in my life. I'm not going to go out here and tell you guys every individual thing that happened between me and said individual, but things happen, and when that's the problem. When you force something like a relationship, it's never good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the relationship I'm in now, not that I haven't put any effort in. I care about her a lot. She's a great, amazing person. I love her to death. But like I don't have to try to do anything.
What I noticed is that a lot of people get into relationships just because they want to like literally just be loved. So they find one person that gives them attention. They're like, okay, I'm not gonna find anything like that. Let me just latch onto it.
No, that's true. Is that what happened to you?
I would, now that I look back. So when like the whole relationship started, bro, I don't have any regrets about the relationship. That's something that's like I think that my relationship was something that like helped me grow, which is it's all I could really ask for. But when it started, it was basically a point of my life where I was unstable in every aspect. Unstable, mentally unstable with my family, unstable with my goals, and just like with my life. And it was a very like lonely time. So it was, like I said, it was like this person came into my life. I liked the person, everything was cool, and I was like, all right, It's kind of like, and I don't mean to cut you off, but like when I think about it, it's kind of like the gym a little bit in terms of like, like bad relationships are like bad training programs, like or just like that you're not doing something right. That like your diet and I didn't know it. I don't think I knew it at the moment. I just for anyone that does that, you're actually doing harm to the person, like to the other person. Like you're kind of I guess leading them on, because in your head the reason why you're getting into the relationship, and it's kind of like fake.
No, and I totally agree. I'm more talking about people that don't really know per se what's like, I guess like kind of like going into it blind is like kind of like you can do it that for every part of your life. Like you can go in blind or something, and if you just do something without having any sort of plan or knowing what the outcomes are, you might come out successful, but more than likely it's going to be a long period of wasted time. And it's not, like I said, the big picture, obviously it's a mistake that we learn from, but it's like when you go to the gym,
just a life lesson, I guess.
Yeah, but I think the key to success is finding ways to minimize your mistakes. I think, in my opinion, like mistakes are to be made, but they're not to be repeated. You know what I mean? Like you can make a mistake, but you shouldn't repeat this mistake.
Have you reflected, like all the mistakes you've done in that specific chapter?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, and I'm not trying to like blow shit up my ass, but I think that I was a very, very good partner. I think. Yeah. I don't think I made after the first year of that relationship, and it was like all said and done. I think that I did everything in my power to make sure that that person felt special, but see, that's the thing. There's no point in doing that if you're forcing it. And even now, for me, like with the person I'm with now, like my business, my life, my success comes first. It's not like, hey, come see me this weekend, or hey, let's go do this weekend. I know you got stuff to do, but screw that. It's like, no, I'm going to do my stuff and you can wait around and hang out with me after if you'd like. I'm not going to go out to bars and clubs and go hang out with my boys and drink beers. That's not what I'm doing. I'm here, working or trying to get ahead and so I can do other things. And if you're not with it, then you can leave. That's I've literally told her that before, and I'm not trying to like be a hard ass or anything like that. But some guys are like that with their girlfriend, but they're talking about going out and stuff like that. They're going out with their boys, or I got to go fishing. No. My stuff is my business, and then my family and my relationship come second. But nothing is getting ahead of that. And when I talk about business, I'm talking about making money, my job, and Water Buffalo. That's my mentality now. That's my mentality for the rest of my life. So if the person that I'm with now at some point doesn't want that anymore, that's not my fault.
Straight to the point.
No, it's true. She knows that too. Yeah. But the reason why I do that is because I know that I have a high value person. Mm-hmm. I know that I have a lot of potential, and I know that when I do give that person my attention, I'm the best person that there is out there. For that, in the aspect that I'm not going to do the things, and we I don't know if we get to specifics, but you know what I mean. Like I'm not. There's a lot about me that is lacking in the male society nowadays.
Yeah. Okay. That's good that you think you were a good partner.
I think.
I know. For myself, I feel like that same unstable mindset I was in from when I got into it, because I believe like depending on what stage of life you're in, you have to at some point, whether it's later on in life when you're closer to marriage and all that, like you have to give your relationship a piece of you, like. I do think at some point to have a fully healthy relationship, but I don't think, for example, right now, at our stage right now, it's something like girls should want, or like anyone should want from the other person, because we're not at a point where we can sacrifice giving 50% of ourselves. You know how they're like your better half and things like that.
No.
Like we can't afford doing that, so I think. The longer you're in the relationship and closer to that point where you want to get married, the percentage of yourself, it just starts growing. Like let's say you start off you're giving the person 10% of you. Then as time goes on, you start giving 20, and you get closer to the better half, whatever.
Well, the reason why, and like I said, I'm not trying to act like I'm a god or anything like that. And I think you're very similar to me in this aspect, is that a lot of other men and people out in the world have a lot of social. They put a lot of emphasis on social interactions and social like events and stuff like that. I don't really have any of that. This is my social time, but I'm also working for my business. You know what I mean? So to me, it works. So if it's not her or it's not my family, it's this. And if it's not this and that, it's my family and her. So I don't know if other relationships might be able to be, because like I said, me and you we're individuals that are doing things that are a little bit not non-traditional, but we're anomalies. Not everyone's doing what we do. I try to surround myself with people that do it like I do, but a lot of people, they need to go out once a week or once every couple of weeks. They need to go golfing with their boys, or they need to, or what. I don't think they need to, but in their minds, it's a necessity. Yeah. But I don't have that. So when I'm not doing what I need to do, I give them my time. So I think that kind of makes up for the amount of time that I lose, like the effort that I can't put. You know what I mean?
So it's like you had, instead of balancing three things, you're balancing two. And you kind of divide your time into them. But yeah, I mean, do you agree though that like at some point you should get closer to giving them more of your time? I mean, it would be better if it's like combined, like you're doing things that are similar and like they're supportive, like not completely different. Like, I'm doing my business and the girl is a a dancer or something, and like now I have to go and
No.
a normal dancer, now I have to give her my time for dancing or something,
Like,
and it just takes a lot of your time. Like it's something similar that you guys are kind of building each other up. I think that's important at some point in life.
I don't know. I would say that to me, I don't think so. No? I don't know. At this point in my life, I don't think so. I really don't.
Well, I agree with you. I don't think at this point in life you have.
I don't know about
at any point.
It depends on where everything goes.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many, and we can kind of transition the conversation into this too, and kind of tie it back. But the females / males in our society in terms of relationships have, from what I've seen in the past, or maybe it's just like the people that I've been surrounded by have been good people, but the trust and the disloyalty, dishonesty, the promiscuousness, I guess, has been through the roof. And it's a lot harder to trust somebody because of what I've seen. And I'm sure you've seen it too. Like how can we do 20, 25 years of marriage, and then one day the person decides to get up, and maybe they've been doing the whole relationship, you just don't know. But how does somebody get up and then like break it, by just going next door and sleeping with a neighbor? That to me, it's like that's the ultimate sin for me.
Bro, I value now, at least, like that's one thing I don't regret, but I think like going around sleeping with people does take a toll on like the soul. Like people are like, oh, like, the free spirits, they can go and sleep around with anyone. Like, I think that it does harm to you at some point. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you're giving pieces to random people. And it's like, I don't think it's healthy. So that's like right now I'm like in a mindset, and I've told you this before. I'm just like, I want to stay away from the whole... that lifestyle, like I want to just focus on what I'm doing, not really put any time into females, because I don't want to do what I did already in my last relationship, which was put myself in a situation where I wasn't ready to provide any. I provided good to the person, but I wasn't providing anything beneficial. I wasn't giving the person my full potential, and I wasn't giving myself my full potential at that same time. So I was like just wasting both of our times, if that makes sense.
No, I got you. And I don't want you to devalue yourself in your last relationship, but I would...
we both made mistakes. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, one person's to blame, but I do feel like I was not ready to be in that long of a relationship.
Yeah. I feel like I was ready. I feel like I pretty much matured in like the way that I'm acting now in this relationship in terms of my last relationship. Nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is I'm aware. Yeah. Like I'm more like, I'm like sharp about things. Back then I would let things slip, and I would be more like, life wouldn't go on without said person. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, life's going to go on no matter what. If they're gone tomorrow, I'm going to continue to wake up. And if I have something to do, I'm going to do it. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like if we get into I got to call. No, like if it is what it is, it's going to be done, and we'll be quick. But in terms of what we were talking about, what you were saying, about giving somebody your all, I just don't see it. I see maybe giving my all to my children. But to an individual wife, I don't know. Maybe at the point when we
come on, the person that gives life to your children is literally like a piece of
but then you see people that have kids and they get divorced, and now
that's the whole like society now. How
it kind of scares, because I guess how are you gonna trust somebody when you've seen it? I mean, I'm not trying to like touch at your personal life, but you've seen it in your own life. You've seen it with your own parents. Yeah, the splitting up of your parents. How are you gonna see? I don't know.
No, it's at a point like there was a point where I couldn't. I was like, if family can do things like that are that messed up, who else is gonna do it? Obviously, a friend would do it, or
of course,
or anyone. So I had like trust issues because of that. Because like anyone, what did we call it? Stab in the back. Yeah, anyone would stab you in the back. And I see where you're coming from though. Like, it's hard to give someone, but that means there's no trust, don't you think, in a relationship? Or you just always have to be aware.
I don't think there's never trust. I just think that there needs to be more of a sense of awareness, and it depends on what you value and what you don't value. It's taking a risk for you to be with an individual to give.
You believe in prenups, don't you?
Of course,
I do too.
100%. Oh, dude, I'm not getting
for anyone. Like even like let's say I was in a relationship, which I would always want to be the provider just because
I think I have that on here. Hold on.
Man, don't fuck.
Yo, what the hell's a water?
No, I don't.
Nah, damn. But yeah, I would want to be the provider. But let's say
you guys just heard the whole soundboard.
even for the female buffaloes, like if they're making more money than their man, like that man, to get that prenup.
Yeah, get the prenup.
Unless I mean, I see the argument sometimes, like if that person helped you build exactly like from the ground up, then maybe. But like if you get some person that just walks into your life when you have all this like success and whatnot that you built with your own hard work, like why would even if you love them, like why are they just gonna come and just have that?
I'm sorry. I'm like podcast is like about digression. I'm pretty sure I saved the prenup on there for that reason.
Oh, like Kanye?
Like the Halloween prenup. Yeah, hit the buttons real quick.
Yo, what the hell's a water buffalo?
I'm here to train. I'm not here to talk.
Oh, I didn't know you could stop.
Yeah, all right, sorry guys. Dude, I literally have it on my computer as saved Kanye West prenup because I was gonna throw that on the podcast when you talked about it. I knew you were gonna talk about it, but no, I think it's a very smart move. It's a very efficient way to get what you have to do done. You have to get it done. It has to be done.
Yeah, and the argument's like, oh well, if you don't trust me, then if you trust me, then why do that?
No, I mean
anything could happen. Look, anything could happen for anyone. Like you don't know what could happen.
Listen, I just got into my last relationship about 4 months ago, and she knows, like, if this will ever get to that point, like, 100%. She's gonna be a doctor too, so she could.
Oh, you too.
Yeah, I mean, why would you not want to protect yourself? It's like it's like planning for the worst. Why do you get life insurance?
Yeah.
So that if you die, your kids are covered. Well, I don't want dad to die before I get a job. Well, it's probably not gonna happen, but he might die. The same way in the marriage, like, if you trust a person, it's probably not. I don't want to say probably not, because in my mind, I think it's about 50-50. But let's just be modest towards all the people out there. It's probably not going to happen, but why not have something to secure yourself,
I agree with you 100%, but I also see people's arguments, like when people are like, oh, well, if you love him and you trust him, why not? I'm like,
no, I don't. Because if you set an alarm at 6:30 in the morning, you're going to get up 100% of the time?
No.
Yeah, so if you don't even trust yourself, why are you going to trust somebody else? Right?
True.
Like, I tell that to everybody. If you can't trust yourself 100%, why are you going to go give trust to some stranger you just met 4 months ago or 5 months ago? Like, I trust a girl I'm with now to not do the wrong thing. But if she does the wrong thing, I'm not going to be surprised. I really wouldn't. And, okay, I'll move on. Yeah. But, like, trust and awareness are different. Like, you can trust somebody, but we can be stupid. I had a lot of signs in my last relationship that she was being unfaithful. And whether or not that was true, never really got to find out, but probably was true. You get signs all the time. It just depends on whether you want to pick them up or not. So,
but the unfaithful thing is always like a deal breaker in many relationships that I've known. But bro, it's so crazy how different our relationships are, but like similar at the same time. But I didn't have any issue like that, and thankfully, I think most of our issues were just like different people, different goals, different stages in life. And that's about it. That's all I can literally say. And
loser versus entrepreneur. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but bro, I think
You're the loser.
Thanks. I see, like, I really hope my relationship was like a sacrifice. Like if let's say you break up with someone and then one person's going out partying, drinking, and not doing things that are, gonna make them successful, that's a waste of the sacrifice. There's that broken relationship was kind of a waste for at least I look at it like I want the other person to succeed. I want the other person to make a lot of money, reach their goals.
You really want the best for that person?
Yes. Think about it. You broke up just for them to like be bums. I mean, unless you broke up with them because they were already bums, then
we're in different situations.
No, but yes, I do want. I want the best for that.
Small chance that this person is watching this podcast. Nothing I'm saying is false. So everything I'm saying is
the small chance of that person is watching
this. They probably do.
Please text me. I'm kidding.
They probably do watch the stuff. I mean, it's just human nature to be curious and stuff like that. And but like I said, for anybody watching this podcast, everything I'm saying is the truth. I'm pretty transparent about my life. I'm not going to get into details, but Yeah, like not that I'm like I hope you fail at life and I hope that you become poor.
Well, there's always that little competitive thing of who's gonna kind of do better. You know,
I
like
don't have to worry about that. I already know I'm doing better.
I know, but people are like, oh, I'm gonna do this first. Most people are like, oh, I'm gonna go sleep with someone first because the other person's gonna do it.
Well, see,
that's sick in the head, by the way. I'm just saying.
The girl that I'm with now, if me and her, or I don't even want to put a timeline on a relationship, but let's just be optimistic. Let's say that we stay together for a long time or whatever it may be. But if me and her were to break up, it would be a lot harder to like see who's going to do better because she's got a lot. She's got
her things going. Yeah,
but
that's good. That's a good problem to have, I guess.
My last relationship,
it is what it is. It is what it is.
Do the research. It's like I said, it's not. And listen, I don't think that was part of her goals. Because we talked about this before. I've always tried to push that person, and I push the girl I'm with now even harder because I know that she got it. But I tried. I know we had a conversation about it. We try to put them in the right direction.
I sometimes view that though as like, it depends. It's all like situations differ from person to person, but there's times when people are at different stages in life. Like think about Tyson Fury, he was a bum or whatever. And then later on he did his greatness. Like that's what
Tyson Fury was
he into like the whole,
well, he was boxing and then he went into a little bit.
Then he went into that. Okay.
A car accident and that put him into a spot. But he was
Robert Downey Jr. I think he had
drug problems,
and then later on in his life, like he went into that, like different people. There's people that stay in that funk for the rest of their lives. You know?
But listen, let's take. I'm a big guy on probability and statistics. I'm serious.
Numbers, because I guess they don't.
Yeah, because this is the same argument that goes with, well, if Joe Rogan smokes weed, why can't I smoke weed? Well, because Joe Rogan's got fucking $3 billion in the bank account. That's why he can smoke weed and do whatever he wants because he already has the money. So, am I gonna try to take the route and say, oh, I'm young and whatever comes, and then kind of just lull it? Yeah, because maybe 1 out of 100 people that'll work for it. Yeah. Maybe 1 out of 1,000 people that they'll do nothing and one day they'll wake up and they have let's say a TikTok blow up and they make a website and now they're making billions of dollars off of fucking arts and crafts. But the majority of people like me and you, we got to work for where we want to be at. It's just life. And if you want to take the chance, it's saying like,
you're saying we're the majority. I take that as a diss.
No, in terms of luck, you know what I mean? Like some people get really lucky. Some people get really lucky, and they even admit. Some people say, what? I don't even know if
I just
get here.
Got here.
But then there's other people that are, I worked my ass off for 25 years. Yeah. You guys didn't see the 25 years of work I just put in. Now I'm getting recognized because I had my chance.
Yeah.
But just circling back to the whole thing with a relationship, the reason why I think this is such a good topic for people, and especially men and dudes out there, is that it can ruin some chances for you. I don't know if it ever ruined any chance for me that like were I don't know, like once in a lifetime. But let's say the relationship continued for another couple of years and then it would end. When Water Buffalo gets to the point where it's really starting to make some moves, and we're on that curve right now where we're running up the hill and we're about to get on top.
I saw a spike after your situation, like it.
Oh yeah.
But I guess that for me at least, like I see a huge change in my, like you see me, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm working out again. Come on,
he's himself again, dude. He definitely, and that's the thing. Like you guys don't understand, and a lot of these guys out there that are obsessed with their individual and think that their individual is, and it's women too. Women do the same thing, but I'm talking about boys because I'm a man. I can relate to men that just like glorify this person as like the one and only. And I've even heard friends of mine like, and I'm not gonna name names.
Patricio.
No, saying that if their girlfriend were to cheat on them, they would consider like
that's sick.
Staying with them because they like the person that much. Isn't that crazy? To me, that's insane. I was talking to my girlfriend that I'm with now about this, and we were reading a book, and it was talking about like this guy who got into a relationship with this lady. It was like one of the, whatever, it was part of the book. It wasn't the whole book was about, but this guy was cheating on his wife for like a long time. And even if I had children and I was with somebody and they were being unfaithful, I would have to leave them because I would be faking what love meant to my children because I wouldn't love that person anymore. You know what I mean? I would have to. It'd be a no-brainer. I would have to leave that relationship. That's what it would have to be.
Yeah.
And she kind of agreed, but she said that she would rather be unhappy and live in a together household
For the kids.
But I'm about honesty and truth. And if my wife were to ever cheat on me, if I get married, whatever.
Did she go through a divorce?
Yes. Yeah, probably. But for me, because then at that point, bro, imagine if your wife cheated on you. Every interaction, for at least for me, I don't think you think the same way. Every interaction that would have to fake would just be showing my kids what love is, not really, not what it is. It would be fake. So that was my spiel on cheating.
Agree. You were talking about, we kind of went somewhere else, but you were talking about how like a relationship could have a negative effect on opportunities for the men out there.
Yeah, and women too, obviously. But just remember, like, that person has two balls, or hopefully.
I mean,
that person.
nowadays,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on nowadays, but that person breathes and they drink just like you, they eat just like you. And you know what's crazy? I saw this the other day, and it kind of got to me because sometimes I think about it too. Like, how are you gonna go out and take a girl, a stranger, to $100 dinner? But when's the last time you took your mom or your grandma to a $100 dinner? And that got to me too, because I'm like, I don't know, I can't tell you. I've been to dinner with my mom, but when's the last time I was like, Mom, let's go out, me and you? Yeah. And I was like, fuck, it kind of hit me. I was like, or maybe it's not your mom, maybe it's your aunt or some shit, someone who helped you out your whole life, teacher or something. And then I was like, damn, that's true. A lot of men worship the people they're in a relationship with, that maybe they're cheating on them, but maybe they're not. But maybe these people are finding their way out. Yeah. And I spent thousands of dollars in my last relationship, and my mom could have taken that money and used it to help pay off the house or
the business
pay the
too.
car. Yeah, I'm like, well, not just thinking selfishly, but think about it.
I mean, other people.
Yeah, I know, obviously, and it's just so much money and time and effort put into relationships. And I'm not just saying that relationships shouldn't be around. I'm in a relationship right now. I love the person I'm with. I tell her I love her every day, but you got to be really careful, and you got to be very, very.
It's more serious
smart.
than you think. Like, I think relationships are life changing. Literally.
Yeah, bro, they are. It's
this was my first relationship.
Yeah.
That shit.
Yeah, it changed your life, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. And if I could like say one tip is like, do not put yourself in a relationship if you're not ready for it. Like, if you're unstable as it is yourself, that person is not gonna make it better. You're just gonna bring a whole mess, and it's gonna be a whole like snowball effect on issues because you're already unstable. You're giving a person probably you're not your best self, not your best efforts, and you just will continue. It won't change. Like, it'll just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And just know what you're getting yourself into before you do. Yeah, I think that's really important.
I would say that another important part of getting into a relationship and thinking about it is like, kind of like circling back to what we were talking about. You got to see the bad signs. You got to see everything right away, because if you don't, you're going to put yourself in a really bad hole. You know what I mean?
People aren't honest with themselves.
Yeah, like when I got into my last relationship, trying to get this camera to work.
Did you catch yourself lying to yourself? Like, you knew there was things that were wrong, but you're like kind of put them to the side, and you're like, they'll fade away.
Yeah, definitely. Because there was a lot of tension between me and my ex-girlfriend and other individuals that were involved in her past. Just things like that I knew that would be a deal breaker for me at some point, but kind of push them under the rug. And they come back to haunt you, and they come back to destroy a relationship. And then I was with my ex-girlfriend for over 3 years, almost 4 years. So that's 4 years of my life of pushing stuff away for literally no reason. Like, there was someone out there better for me, right? And even if there wasn't at the time, I could have stayed single.
Do you think, this is a weird question, but do you think there's someone, I know you consider yourself a valuable individual, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're a valuable individual to the other person. You know?
Of course.
Do you consider, I mean, there's definitely other people that are better for her, quote unquote,
probably.
For her lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
Even though,
no,
that's the GOAT. But
no, I'm not trying to say.
Like, let's say there's someone who likes drinking and smoking or whatever, and then there's someone who likes to work hard.
Yeah,
obviously,
of course.
like they're gonna like being with someone who's smoking and drinking better than someone who works hard. I mean, depending on the person, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that the person that I was with before is destined to be with somebody out there who's a little bit more laid back in life and doesn't have as many big aspirations and would rather just live life day by day. And maybe, you know, listen, I
It's a
wish
different lifestyle.
I wish the best for her and her family, and I really do, because I know they struggle a lot and they have a lot of things going on with them. I wish the best for them. I wish that they do the best that they can do with what they have. I just think that maybe I was just a little bit too high strung. I was too goal driven, too focused on a bigger picture. And
Bro, some girls I don't like that for some
No,
reason,
they don't.
and I find it so crazy.
I
Like,
mean,
why
me
not?
too. Me too.
But I do also realize why, because some girls are just like I don't know, little.
Yeah,
They think that if you're putting more time into, like, let's say your business, it's not time for them. You know, you're taking time away from their
Yeah,
relationship, and they don't realize that the time you're putting it into the business is going to help them out later on in life. I don't know.
yeah. No, I think that
And like
when
long term.
when people grow up in a different, and we got to probably wrap it up somewhat soon, but there's another,
Bro, I want to talk about it so much. We could talk for hours.
there's another podcast I definitely want to talk to you about in terms of this. Maybe Pat will be the Casanova, the Latin lover of the shows, but culture has a huge role in relationships.
Yep.
A giant role. I was in a culture that I was very uncomfortable with, and it definitely showed. And I would say that's another key factor. Culture and family structure are very, very important to a successful relationship. Not saying that someone who comes from a broken household can't be in a good relationship. I think you're somebody, and I'm not saying your household is broken, but obviously,
Damn.
what?
I said, damn.
No, but I'm being honest. I'm being real.
A broken household, not the traditional mother father living together.
No, I'm talking about like a lot of issues on top of divorce, not just divorce. Divorce is very prevalent, so I'm not saying that the people that come from divorced families are fucked. I'm saying like a lot of issues in terms of like, you know, I don't want to get into specifics, but I think me and you both know.
Okay, go ahead.
No. I don't think that I wouldn't call your household broken.
Assumptions. The assumptions people make, bro. That DM. I'm not gonna talk about it specifically, but you addressed it on your story.
One of the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, that's kind of like entitled, no? Like, oh, he's hitting me up. Like,
yeah, no.
Like, that's what people think nowadays. Like, so you can't even be nice to girls nowadays. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no. And listen, like I said, I don't even have. I know you're not on dating apps, so I can talk shit about people that. No, not talk shit about people on dating apps, but it's a cluster F of stuff that contributes to this society. Like at 22 years old, you think, and this is crazy to me because this is the norm, right? Guys our age are always sliding in girls' DMs. At 22 years old,
are they
with
still?
or without a girlfriend?
I mean, bro, I'm like so out of it, out of the whole game. Like anything,
bad,
like
bro.
I don't know.
I mean, even some
nowadays.
people in our, and like I said, no disrespect towards my friends that are involved in normal. We're not normal. We're very strange individuals. We're very traditional.
That's fair.
We're not the normal people. Like what we're saying is very like, I would say probably very weird. Like people are like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? But I think that the successful people, I'm not trying to say the people that do what we talk about are not going to be successful.
Successful is measured different.
I think that
through different lenses.
Yeah, I think that those people that came from nothing sort of thing will kind of more understand us because we kind of, not that they come from nothing. Obviously, we come from a lot more than what other people come through. But that those like old school values and mentality are not normal. Like obviously, if I'm at like any other dude working out, posting pictures of me working out, I'm probably, if I slide in your DM, 99% of the time probably means that I want to like, you know, talk to you. Maybe 90%.
Yeah.
In my opinion, from what I've seen from my friends and what I've seen on social media. So I don't blame her for assuming that. But at the age of 22, I have a business. I have a girlfriend. I have a family. I have so many more things to do. I will never, and for the rest of my life, I don't care how long I live, I'll never jump on another dating app. You know, I'll never do that again in my life. Not that I ever use one with the intent of dating app, but I'll never seek attention from females on social media. And I'll never, ever slide in your DMs saying like hello. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, like
Vibes.
I don't know.
I agree.
But like I said, that's not the norm for individuals. Like she was probably right to assume that I was trying to, you know. Did you see the rest of the conversation?
No, but I think regardless, like, I mean, nowadays with like society, yeah, she's right to assume, but I just think that's sick. Like, you can't just be like, hey, can you collab or something like that, or like, hey, I don't know, like in single man situations, like I can't be like, hey, you want to be my friend, or I feel like,
no.
I mean, I get
agree.
it because men are like, when they hit up a girl, it's for, you know.
Yeah, it's exactly that's what me and Leo were talking about the other day. Like, you know,
Bro, what we're saying is pretty weird, I think, to most people. They're probably like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
But anyways, we'll start to close out the podcast because it is very late at the moment. It is, I don't know. We should say what time it is, but it's almost the next day. Just kidding. It is already the next day. But any other last thoughts on this podcast, Pat? We really wanted to
for hours.
Yeah, we really wanted to do 2. I think we're gonna do 2. I don't know if we're gonna do it anytime soon, but hopefully in the future. I would love to do one as soon as possible though, because
right, rock paper scissors shoot for 15 more minutes.
no, we could do another 15.
Yeah.
But what else did you want to hit on?
All right, so we hit. Bro, I do want to hit the whole sex aspect of things, but I don't know if that's gonna be a whole like new world.
We gotta say that's like another hour conversation.
True.
But no, I'm down to do one all on that.
Okay.
Not on like the physical aspect of what it is, but
yeah,
we're not gonna get into our spicy
preferences.
Stuff. But we'll get into. There's a couple things I want.
Helicopter 360 sliding. I don't know.
360 no scope, but no, I think that's a really good topic to talk about. It's something that people don't want to talk about, but I think that people are going to think that we're talking about something else, but we're going to talk about like the complete opposite.
But it's desensitized.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that it's like I said, it's a topic that branches off of that thing I was telling you about that I don't do anymore because you know. But I think that first of all, we got to do that podcast with one more individual that doesn't think like us.
Oh, true.
Maybe like a Levi, because I think Levi
he doesn't think like us.
I don't think so.
Like he's more okay.
I think he's more open towards.
That's good though. Like for the conversation.
Yeah, it's
like
we're just fighting each other at the end of it.
Right.
But no, I'll let me ask you a question so we can kind of get the ball rolling on this last little topic. But if you could take something to say to said individual, what would you tell them?
I gotta think about it. Let me get water first because my throat is dry.
And we'll be right back. No, I'm just kidding.
Kidding.
Wait, hold on. This is more suitable.
Like now, and just, bro, this is gonna be like I would have this next time we go spar. That's how I'm gonna. Oh, you want me to talk over the song?
Wait,
in
no.
Spanish or something?
What do you mean?
No, like when I come out sparring next time, I want this song to be playing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I had the prenup one on there.
But do you mean like, what would I say as in like last words or something?
No,
just
no,
like,
no. I'm not trying to like.
All right, I mean the person.
Be a Latin lover.
If she's curious, she's probably watching. I don't know. I do want the person to find happiness, I guess, and follow her goals. And I'd see the relationship ending as a sacrifice. And I don't know. I just want her to. This is weird because I actually don't talk to the person. Like don't communicate. So it's not like, oh, I could go say it. Just it's done, like said and done, and we don't talk anymore. But I want the person to really see the relationship ending as a lesson. I keep like backing up. Yeah. That's probably the whole podcast. But I want the person to take that as a lesson. And what did you say? Yeah, I've been like, I mean, you could still kind of hear.
Yeah, no,
just
good.
put that little gain up.
And so I'm really surprised with audio quality, but
It's beautiful. But yeah, I want the person to look at that relationship as a lesson and actually learn from it, because or else it's just like a waste. At least for the person's point of view. I want it to be a life lesson and only look at it as good, because there's no point in looking at it as like a waste of time. At least for me, I think it's like a whole lesson and like made me the person I am.
Que chinga su madre. No, I'm just kidding. But
I butchered that completely.
no, I think that was a good little thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's no hate at all.
No, that's good.
No hate.
I just think that like anything else in life, this could be the last thing we hit on too. But I think once a relationship ends,
it's done.
I don't really buy the whole let's be friends sort of thing. I know a lot of people.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. The hardest thing for me is like cutting that relationship and never talking to that person again. Like it was hard for me to understand that whole situation. I understand it now and I understand why it happened, but it's like it's just crazy to me how like this person can be your best friend, you're all this, and then all of a sudden done. Like boof, like fairy dust.
Let's put old school man on the spot and kind of put some of my stuff out there. My ex-girlfriend actually broke up with me, so that wasn't me. I broke up with her. No, she broke up with me. I did not want to end the relationship, and I was kind of forced into doing that because it was what it was. And I appreciate that honestly a lot, because if I didn't have that happen to me, we would still be together, and it would have been years until I figured out that because I used to think what I think now when I was with her, like, oh, all these other guys are with these fucking whores and all this stuff, but
it makes you appreciate and you were like, oh, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not that bad.
It's like the best of the worst. But looking back at it, when you talk like that too much, your reality starts to become that. When you start to look at other people and you're like, damn, like that's why I don't really look down on anyone else that doesn't do what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I used to do that before, but I used to think like, oh, yeah, their girls are out the bars. And
you could be doing that for your business, or you could be like, oh, there's some guy who's not doing as much as me, I'm good, you know? Like, I don't think it's not a healthy way to look at things.
No. And I was like,
you got to be looking up like, oh, there's actually better.
Yeah.
You want better.
Or don't even like, think about, because
I guess, just not compare.
What they do is irrelevant to what you got going on. True. And I think that that was my mistake, because it started to become my reality. And, at the end of the day, it was tough for about a week and a half or 2 weeks. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, but for someone like myself, I feel like I kind of like, I was like right away.
Yeah.
Like the first, like I said, 2 weeks were kind of tough, but then right away after that, it was like, all right, I have so much other stuff to do. Am I really going to sit here and try to like, because that's the problem too. When people are like getting back together with their exes, it's just worse. Like, bro, once it's done.
What about like 10 years later?
No, because dude, that's what me and Levi were talking about the other day. I don't think people change, bro.
Yeah.
I don't. I really don't.
Well, I think people don't change when it comes to like their character traits and things like that. Like, but what about like, oh, the person, let's say the issue was that the person wasn't motivated in what they're doing. They didn't have a passion yet or something like that. And then they find it, like it's not like, oh, the person's a psychopath, like something that actually doesn't change. But I think,
Yeah. Hold on.
¿Qué pasa?
No, nothing. I was gonna check, but I think we're good. I just want to make sure that we get all the footage in. But sorry for the quick break. But no, I agree. I definitely agree. I think that I don't know.
You didn't have a hard time like cutting it off, like just like, okay, done, never.
I mean, it was, like I said, it was hard for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then thank God within a couple months, I stumbled upon a lovely lady who made me like I said, I don't put anybody on a pedestal like they're Jesus Christ in the flesh. But I think that in this new relationship, it's made me realize, because the relationship I had before my other relationship was like high school puppy love. You know what I mean? It was like there was no basis, there was no foundation, there was no integrity towards it. Like we just were in puppy love. You know what I'm talking about?
No, of course.
But after, the second relationship was the one that really taught me a lot about individuals. And now I think this one I'm in right now could work out really well. Yeah, I think it could work out well. But like I said, if she texts me tomorrow morning and says, "Hey, listen, I slept with some dude last night," I wouldn't be surprised, and I'd just be like, you know what, it was nice knowing you. We could take these photos if you want, but I want my shirts back.
But that's a reason to like, all right, cut it off. But sometimes there's no reason. I don't know. We're not gonna get into it. But like my whole situation, it was just like different reasons that aren't like harmful. Like, oh, she stole money from me or she cheated on me, things like that kind of make it easy to just close off the chapter.
Neither was mine. Mine was, I don't even know why. It was just like, hey, listen. But looking back at some of the things that had happened in the relationship, I know
makes sense.
I know I'm just saying, I know said person was being unfaithful during our relationship. And I think that it caught up to them and they realized, like, listen. Oh, you gonna put some?
I thought it was like bombs. Like, oh shit. I don't know, like you don't have
Man,
that.
you know, don't
Like just. No, I think this one's good. Damn.
But no, it's just like it's so obvious that you know, like I said, I don't want to get into specifics, but it's so, you know, I told you before.
Bro, do you think I was? My whole this is like.
You think? Do I think you were a simp? Yes, I do.
People,
but I was also a simp.
I think that's fine. I think.
You think it's fine to be a simp?
I don't think not when in the what's it called mindset I was in. I was not ready to give anyone any sort of time. I was not ready to give anyone like my full attention because I didn't even give it to myself at all. Like I was like all over the place trying to balance this person because the person required energy from me 24/7
and school and all that.
And then like I had other things going on, so I was trying to balance all these things that I was just like fumbling everything, you know. And what were we talking about? Like
no, I was just saying.
You asked me a question. I forgot what it was, but yeah, I was fumbling all that, and yeah. Well, I lost track of what the question was.
But we're gonna probably have to close it out and finish this podcast. I think the next one, we got to do a couple. We got to do like at least like 3 or 4, because there's a couple more things that we want to hit on more specific. But I also want to do an episode where we talk about our gym days, because we had some crazy gym days, some crazy gym times.
Yep.
We would go to concerts and work out in between sets.
Eat meals. That was sick.
Yeah.
People used to roast us for that, by the way.
You know what?
And there was literally it was like the best thing.
Yeah, it was.
What was wrong with it?
We used to go to concerts and we used to, in between people playing, we would go and work out at the gym that was right over there.
That was once.
Was it once?
Yeah, but we would eat. We would go to parties and we would step out eating meals.
Food, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. When you don't have the best genetics in the world, you gotta work hard. He always had a good
that
job.
showed discipline.
Yeah, I think it did. But Poppy, I don't want to make you take the scoop on live air, and that's not live air. But next time, Pat will do a scoop of buff sauce.
I would do it if we went another hour, but
yeah. Well, anyways, guys, we appreciate you guys watching this podcast. Stay tuned to the rest of the other stuff we got going on. That is another episode of After Hours Podcast. This is our first episode of After Hours Podcast that we have back on. And by now we should be on Spotify, so check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and whatever other weird streaming services people listen to podcasts on. And check us out. Check this video out on YouTube. Obviously, you'll see it on YouTube. And follow the Instagram, follow the rest of our stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow Pat. Pat's stuff will be in the bio. And I hope you guys like this hour and 20-minute conversation. But thank you, bro.
No problem, bro. I was getting warmed up.
We'll see you guys in a couple of hours.
Adios.
Later, brother.
Hey guys, thank you guys for checking out this video. We're so grateful to have you here on our YouTube channel, so make sure to check out all of our other videos ranging from a variety of different type of podcasts to our Buffalo barbecues. Check out our YouTube channel for constant updates on all the stuff that we have going on. You can also follow us on social media like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So check us out there. Water Buffalo Training Method, we're out.